Imagine a world where reproduction has nothing to do with tenderness, but with risk, violence, and sometimes death. Why does mating become a sacrifice for some creatures? Why does it often end in mutilation, subjugation, or complete self-sacrifice? And why has evolution preserved exactly these extreme strategies instead of eliminating them? Behind the seemingly natural act of reproduction lie mechanisms that fundamentally shake our understanding of life. Some species pay an almost unimaginable price for passing on their genes. And that's exactly where our journey begins. First up is a creature whose mating is as silent as it is deadly. Top 1. Reproduction with no return. In the world of insects, this mating ritual begins almost silently. The female remains motionless while the male slowly approaches as if instinctively sensing there's no turning back. But what initially seems calm develops into one of nature's most extreme acts of reproduction. During mating, it often happens that the female bites off the male's head. However, this act is not a senseless outburst of violence. Even after decapitation, the male's body continues the mating process, controlled by automatic nerve reflexes that allow for a complete transfer of genetic material. For the female, this moment provides a vital source of protein, increasing the offspring's chances of survival. For the male, it is the ultimate investment in the next generation. Observations also show that well-fed females react fatally less often, suggesting this behavior is less cruelty and more evolutionary compulsion. What begins with a silent approach ends as an irreversible biological contract. Top 2. A risk worth taking. For this species, the reputation is as notorious as it is misunderstood. Contrary to myth, not every mating ends fatally, but when it does, the outcome is so extreme that it has become a symbol. The encounter begins with caution. The male sends targeted vibrations through the web to clearly identify himself as a partner and avoid ending up as prey. This signal is vital for survival. Additionally, the male preferentially chooses females that are already well-fed, as they react less aggressively. Nevertheless, some encounters go further. In some cases, after mating, the male deliberately drops itself into the female's fanging tools. This apparent suicide follows a clear biological strategy. By being eaten, the male prolongs contact, prevents the female from further mating, and increases the likelihood that its own genetic material will fertilize the eggs. The structure of the female reproductive system specifically favors this effect. What seems like an irrational sacrifice is, in truth, a calculated final step in the competition for genetic future. Top 3. War on a micro scale. At first glance, this world appears invisible and harmless, but under extreme magnification, it transforms into a battlefield. In this microscopic environment, males compete with fierce consequence for access to a single female. Equipped with tiny, razor-sharp grasping tools, they engage in direct fights where even the smallest advantages determine genetic future. This violence is no accident. It's the result of extremely dense habitats where every mating opportunity is rare and valuable. Particularly noteworthy is that not all males pursue the same strategy. Some develop a massive physique, specialized for direct combat. Others, however, emerge with a leaner, more agile form and completely avoid confrontations. While the fighters weaken or eliminate each other, these males use their agility to reach the female unnoticed. Actual mating often lasts only a few moments, as a new rival can appear at any time. This unassuming world shows that brutality, deception, and strategy do not depend on size. Even on the smallest scale, evolution decides with uncompromising precision. Top 4. Fusion with no escape. In the deepest regions of the ocean, where complete darkness prevails and encounters are extremely rare, reproduction follows a radical logic. Here, the search for a partner is so improbable that evolution has created a solution that defies every notion of mating. The male is tiny and drifts alone through the depths, guided by barely perceptible chemical traces. When it finally finds a female, there is no courtship. Instead, it bites onto her body. From that moment, a slow, irreversible process begins. The tissues of both animals grow together, bloodstreams connect, and the male gradually loses its independence. Organs regress, the mouth disappears, until it becomes a permanent appendage whose sole function is to produce sperm. Some females carry several such fused partners simultaneously. This extreme strategy ensures that reproduction is possible at any time, even in an environment where a second encounter would be almost impossible. What seems grotesque is, in truth, a precise biological response to absolute isolation. Top 5. Power decided by the body. In this society, not the male's strength but the absolute dominance of the females determines every form of reproduction. The social system is strictly hierarchical, and this order is reflected even in the anatomy. The females possess an exceptionally well-developed reproductive organ that externally resembles the males. Both mating and birth must occur through this narrow and complex structure. What initially seems like a biological disadvantage serves a clear function. It creates a natural barrier against intrusive or aggressive males. Every approach becomes a lengthy ritual where the male must show patience, subordination, and complete restraint. Any sign of aggression leads to immediate termination. In this way, only the calmest and most socially adapted males reproduce. Even birth is fraught with high risks and often claims sacrifices. Nevertheless, this system has been preserved for millions of years. It shows that evolution doesn't aim for comfort, but for stability. In this case, control over reproduction ensures the order of the entire community. Top 6. A silent anatomical war. In this species, the most brutal confrontation doesn't take place in open combat, but deep inside the body. Males possess one of the longest reproductive organs relative to their body size, shaped like a spiral and capable of extending within seconds. But the actual evolutionary advantage doesn't lie with them. Over time, females have developed a complex internal labyrinth consisting of opposing turns, dead ends, and lateral chambers. This structure allows them to invisibly control the course of mating. Even if a male tries to forcefully impose its genes, ultimately the female decides which sperm reach their target. Undesired genetic material can be redirected or completely blocked without overt resistance. Studies show that without the female's cooperation, the reproductive process physically fails. Only when both anatomical structures harmonize does mating proceed successfully. The silent competition has produced one of the most complex examples of sexual evolution, where control is more important than strength. Top 7. Reproduction by injury. In this species, all forms of courtship or approach completely disappear. Reproduction occurs directly, brutally, and without consent. The male doesn't seek a specific reproductive organ, but pierces the female's body with a sharp appendage and injects sperm directly into the body cavity. From there, they independently reach the eggs. This method bypasses any possibility of female control and gives the male a clear competitive advantage. But evolution reacts here too. Females have developed a special internal tissue that serves as a kind of biological protective cushion, limiting internal injuries. Despite this adaptation, every mating remains a risk. Repeated injuries lead to increased stress, shortened lifespan, and reduced future reproduction. Some females therefore try to avoid groups with many males or limit their activity over time. Nevertheless, the pressure of reproduction is omnipresent. This extreme system has persisted for millions of years and shows that evolution does not distinguish between violence and gentleness. It preserves what works, even if the price is physical destruction. These examples show that reproduction in nature is rarely gentle. It is strategy, risk, and sometimes a final sacrifice. If this hidden side of life has surprised you, then support the video with a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more stories like this.